I'm Sid.
And I'm Summer.
And this is...
Significant Bothers. That one, my throat's a little... I mean, I sound bad anyways.
Your throat's a little...
I can't sing, but...
What's a descriptor? My throat's a little...
like it's got snot and shit in
I
it.
got a picture. I'm coming with you, dear Marie. He does that in the beginning.
Yeah. Count me in.
Unless you want to go... Does he? No, he doesn't do that. In Make Damn Sure. He doesn't do that. It's just a...
It's a breathe in.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was like a dynamite string. Anyways, this is. Oh yeah, you got. Yeah. You're right.
Do I have a booger?
Yeah, like 2.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Nope.
It feels like it. It tickled. My nose is tickling.
So this is episode 10. If you
Whoop,
weren't.
whoop. Sorry.
If you weren't aware, this is your birth control. All right, this is your birth control episode.
You're welcome.
If you ever needed a reason not to have kids, we about to tell you a list of them, and we about to give them to you automatic.
I'm gonna preface it by saying we love our children.
No, duh. Okay, first of all, listen, I don't understand everybody who talks about stuff like this. They're always like, "What would you say that about your kids?"
Right.
When the kids grow up, they'll understand. Oh, believe me,
Yeah.
every parent feels this way.
That's true.
Okay, not every parent. I'm sorry, not everyone is like, my children are wonderful. They've never pooped their pants and handed it to me. They've never pooped in their pants, grabbed it with their hand, and tried to go, "Mama, Dada, hold my hand." No, they never done that to me. They only give me sweet little baby kisses.
Yeah.
Baby kisses.
No, like, I just feel like nobody talks. I mean, people are more now than they used to, but people didn't really talk about the realities of pregnancy, birth, and parenthood. And they're just like, oh my God, it's like sunshine and rainbows. And I'm like,
which I think is a lie.
Where's your sunshine and rainbows?
I think it's a lie. Because every parent, since before people were talking about it, every parent would go, I can't wait till you have kids.
Yeah.
So you get what I
That's
got.
true.
You're saying it. You're not going,
That's true.
My kids were monsters. I'm like, you're not saying your kids are terrible and you wish they'd go away. You're saying there are terrible moments that only happen with kids because guess what? If an adult did it, you would be like, oh, we need to do something about
and
this.
that people that haven't been around kids a lot but want kids, like, you should probably know this before you get in to having kids, because you like, I feel like sometimes people have kids and they're like, what the hell is going on here? And I'm like, oh yeah, you didn't know that craziness happens. Like, you know what I mean?
So I would say we should start from the beginning. Okay, the pregnancy portion.
Yeah.
Okay, we start at that. All right.
I had 2 very different pregnancies, but 2 very terrible pregnancies. They were very different in their ways that they were terrible, but terrible nonetheless.
I was only there for the second one, so I can only speak on the second one.
Well, I'll start with the first one then.
Yeah. You're real active underneath this table.
I keep forgetting there's boxes under here, and I keep kicking them.
Box in the boxes. Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, so when I was pregnant with Delilah, I got pregnant with her when I was 18. I found out I was pregnant like 2 months before my birthday. The first 3 months, I could not eat anything. I did not eat. I withered away. Like, I
physically saw it.
Like, I felt like I was so sick. Like, it was all day sickness. There was no morning sickness. It was all damn day sickness.
It was just down with the sickness.
I was. And it was like, it was awful. Like, I could not eat anything. Everything grossed me out. Beef, especially. I did not eat beef pretty much the whole time I was pregnant with Delilah because beef disgusted me. All I could eat was chicken, and I barely ate that. Like, about the 3-month mark, it chilled, and I was able to eat again, but I had lost so much weight. Like, I looked awful. There's, like, I saw a picture of me from then, and I was like, holy shit, I look bad. Like, my eyes look sunken in. Like, I think I weighed, like, 93, 94 pounds at, like, 3 months pregnant, which is insane.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, because I couldn't eat anything.
A couple ounces was the only thing he was weighing.
I was suffering. And I just, I did throw up some. And I love mustard. I remember one time I went and I got a hot dog. And I was like, I'm going to try to eat this. So when I first found out I was pregnant, I could eat. But it was, like, after, like, a week or two, then I got super sick. Like, I ate pizza. And I remember being fine. But then it was after that I got so sick. I went and got a hot dog and was like, oh, I love hot dogs. And I put mustard on it. And as soon as I took a bite into it, I had to run to the bathroom and throw up because of the mustard.
Yeah, no, mustard's gross.
No, I love mustard.
You had the right taste buds for a minute.
Right. And then I remember one time we were going somewhere, me and my aunt, and I had gotten Bojangles, and I took like a sip of Mountain Dew and ate like a couple fries because that's all I could stand to eat. I couldn't even eat the chicken tenders. And we're driving. Well, she was driving. I was in the passenger seat, and I was like, you gotta pull over, you gotta pull over. And then like we pulled over on the side of like the 4-lane highway, I'm pretty sure it was. And I still had my seatbelt on, I think. And I was like hanging out the truck, throwing up out of the truck. And she's like holding me, trying to make sure I don't fall out of the seat.
Well, you had the seatbelt on. You were all right.
That's true. I think I had my seatbelt on. I may have taken it out. But it was quite the time. And that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
I feel like they were similar with that because I was very sick with Ronan too.
You didn't really eat with the first 3 months.
Yeah.
You kind of was like, everything makes me nauseous. And that just continued, actually. That never really went away.
No, with Ronan, yeah, I was nauseous almost the whole pregnancy. With Delilah, at least it was just like the first 3 months.
But listen, okay?
Sweet tarts helped.
Yeah.
I would eat sweet tarts with Ronan, and that made the nausea a little better. But then after eating a lot of sweet tarts, it started to make me nauseous.
We're going to talk about the incident with the hard pieces.
Yeah.
Listen, okay, this woman she was so down. She was like, oh my God, I can't even, this is when she started eating again. And when she started eating again, she was like very, very, very emotional about her food, okay? You could not get anything wrong, or it was like, it ruined my whole thing. Okay.
Oh, and then the pregnancies were opposite. With Delilah, I could not eat beef the whole time. I just ate chicken. And with Ronan, it flopped. And chicken disgusted me. And I only ate like beef or pork.
Yeah. So we went to Wendy's because we were only eating Sonic and Wendy's, other than when I was giving her pizza because I worked at Pizza Hut at the time. And we went to Wendy's, and she was like, oh my God, I want a junior bacon cheeseburger. Oh my God, it'd be so good. Oh my God, I'm so excited. When we get home, I'm going to eat it. I don't want to eat it in the car because I don't want to get sick, but I'm going to eat it when we get home. We get home, she bites it, and she goes,
He started gagging.
Take it away. I'm like, what's wrong with it? She's, there's a hard piece in it.
And it grossed me out.
You have to throw it away. And then as I was throwing it away, right as the plate touched the trash, like the burger was like right on the trash, I was like, there's bacon in it. There's bacon. That was the hard pieces she was gagging at. And I said, you wanted a junior bacon cheeseburger? She's like, yeah. I said, the hard pieces were bacon. She goes, oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
I was very sensitive to textures of things and would get disgusted easily. So, like, it's like my brain was not thinking about the bacon being in it. And I bit into it and I was like, ugh! Why is there crunchy pieces in this
it's a hard piece
hamburger?
And I can't eat it.
And then I was really upset that it got thrown in the trash before I realized.
Yeah. Like, right when I was doing it, I was like, bacon. Okay. All right.
Emotional for sure. When I was pregnant with Delilah, when we were in Hawaii, I cried because Delilah's dad he forgot my honey mustard from Wendy's.
Yeah.
When I got chicken nuggets.
It's not a good combination pregnant.
No, I know.
You just avoid it.
Yeah, we got chicken nuggets, and then we had pulled off and we were back on the road, and there wasn't any honey mustard in my bag. And I was like, oh no, they forgot honey mustard. And then the way the road, there's like a concrete barrier, and it's like really a pain in the ass to get turned around where we were at. Like, it would have been a hassle. And he's like, you want me to go back? And I'm like, it's okay. But then I was crying because I didn't have honey mustard. Yeah.
What were you crying about? You were crying about something in the car. Like, we were going, you were like, I'm really hungry. I'm really hungry. I was like, okay, well, when I get back to the store, we can go to Sonic and you can get something. But I'm just so hungry.
Oh, I did eat Arby's while I was pregnant with Ronan too. I was okay with eating those little mini like roast beef sliders.
That's true. Yeah, I can't stand Arby's. That's like the worst thing. Okay.
And I threw up out the door with you too. Me and Sid were in the car, and all I had drank was Gatorade and eaten like a strawberry Pop-Tart. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm gonna throw up. And pulled over, and I opened it. He stopped driving. I opened the door and threw up Pop-Tart all out the car. And I was like, God, this is the worst thing I've ever been through in my life.
She would be like, I want to go with you to work. So she would sit in the car all day while I'm at work. Like I delivered pizzas. So I'm like, okay, I guess that's fine. And then we were going back to a hotel to deliver the pizzas. As the way we're going back to the store, she's like, stop the car. Stop. And she throws up out of the car and she's like, I don't feel good. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Just relax a little bit. I just don't feel good. And I was like, okay.
Being pregnant was literally the worst experience. The worst 2 experiences of my lifetime. Like,
That makes sense.
With Delilah, after I got like so far along, I started getting dizzy and seeing black spots and almost passing out. Like, I would be just, like, sometimes it would happen when I'm walking around or washing dishes or whatever, but I could literally be sitting on the couch and all of a sudden my heart would speed up super fast and it would make me so lightheaded and I would start seeing black spots and it would start, like, getting tunnel vision and I would about pass out and I'd have to, like, lay down. And I told my OB that and they're like, that's normal. I was like, is it normal? Because that doesn't feel normal if I just pass the heck out in the middle of the floor. Or, like, how's my heart beating that fast and I'm about to pass out when I'm literally sitting on the couch doing nothing? Like, that does not sound normal. But
Were you watching a thrilling show?
I wasn't.
See.
I was just chilling. But to be fair, when I had Delilah, we were living on the Marine Corps base and I was going to a military hospital and I swear to God, they don't give a shit. Like, they do not. I switched OBs too. Both of them were women. The first lady, she was a bitch. She was just, like, not nice. Like, she was just, I did not like her. She made me feel so uncomfortable. And I switched to another lady and she was a little better. But that's not even who delivered the baby, either one of them. Because at the military hospital, it's not like with my OB when I had Ronan, I see that OB the whole time. And then when it's time for Ronan to be born, he comes to the hospital and delivers her. You see the OB at the place there, and then you go to the hospital, and whoever's on call delivers your baby. So it's not somebody you're comfortable with. It's somebody you don't know. Like, I was like, holy shit, I would not recommend anybody have a baby on a military base, like, using their hospitals. Go out in town. You might have to pay a little bit, but the insurance was still pretty decent, even if you went in town. But goddamn, that was awful.
Like, in retrospect, for me, I know a lot of people are like, the pregnancy part is hard for me as well. It wasn't that bad for me. Like, honestly, I'm gonna be for real with you. Like, honestly, it wasn't a big deal. Like, I'm like, oh, I need this. Okay, I'll get it. Whatever. Like, I'm not gonna sit here.
If you would have been like, this pregnancy is hard on me, I probably would have
karate
chopped you in the throat.
100%. You are one of the most dramatic people I've ever met in my life, and it wasn't that bad. Like, you pregnant was not as bad as, like, you on a bad Tuesday with your anxiety. Like, it's like your anxiety is worse than you pregnant. You were like, I guess because yes, because you be flipping out sometimes.
That's true.
You're like, I just feel like the sky is falling.
Well, when I was pregnant, I didn't have the energy to flip out like that because I wasn't eating. I was withering away.
Also, it probably was because your brain was like, well, I'm pregnant, so this is probably why I'm feeling this way. So you probably weren't worried about it.
Well, see, and then, it was the same thing with Ronan, too. I think I was, 94 pounds at one of my first doctor's appointments. Well, not my first, but, like, one of the ones a few in. Yeah. And the doctor was, like, concerned because he was like, you've lost weight since your last appointment. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do, man. Like, I can't do anything.
I can't eat, dude. I can't eat.
I'm doing my best. But, yeah, they worried about me because they said that I was, like, measuring small, like, the whole pregnancy with Rona, and she did not being a really small baby. She was 5 pounds 13 ounces.
And speaking of which, we're gonna fast forward to the birthing portion, which, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes you gotta take your naps when you can. You gotta sleep when you can. Okay, because we were like, okay, we're just gonna go in.
For sure.
We're gonna go in. We're scheduled. For in the morning, so it's fine. We'll just go sit in there. We'll watch Love Island and have a good time. So we did. We went in, at like what, midnight? No,
No,
it was like 6.
It was 7:30 or 8. We
Yeah.
had to be there at the hospital at the night. Okay, because with Ronan I was induced. With Delilah I was not. Well, technically I was kind of induced. Like with Delilah, she went over her due date. She was due on the 11th, and I had her on the 14th. They were going to induce me on the 16th if she hadn't came, but my water broke at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and she wasn't born until 2:21 the next morning. And they, like, my water did break, but they said that she must have shifted and, like, closed the hole, because it was only a little bit. And they had to re-break my water and still give me Pitocin, and, like, it was horrendous.
Okay, so that makes sense, actually.
What?
That one didn't want to leave.
Ronan did not.
No, Delilah didn't want to leave.
No. I mean, yeah, Delilah did not want to get
still
out.
to this day, up under you.
That's true.
After, like, I'm going to be real with you, okay? We stayed up all night from 6:30. I mean, before that, before we even got to the
Whenever
hospital,
we got up the morning before.
We stayed up the whole night. I don't know why we did this. I don't know. Well, I don't know why I did it, honestly, because I could have went to sleep.
I was in pain.
I decided to stay awake. You know, I was gonna be a good person and stay awake. But in retrospect, you should sleep.
Yeah.
Because you don't really realize before the baby's born how traumatic it is for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Because you don't think it's gonna be. You're like, oh, the baby's gonna be here. You're gonna be like, all right, cool. I'll just take care of the baby, whatever. But it's like emotionally, it just shifts everything.
For
right?
sure.
So,
like, go ahead.
We stayed up all night, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna come in and we're gonna like induce you.
Before that, okay, so they give me this pill that's supposed to dilate my cervix, and they have to monitor my blood pressure the whole time. I couldn't go to sleep partially because of that, so I had to keep the blood pressure cuff on the whole time because I don't know what this pill does. Maybe it like can make your blood pressure spike or whatever. And they had to monitor Ronan the whole time too because they were inducing me, and I guess like whatever they're doing to my body to make me have her could, I don't know, cause her distress. But okay, and I was induced at 39 weeks with Ronan. Like Delilah was late, Ronan was a week early because they wanted to induce me because she was small. But I had the blood pressure cuff on, and it checked my blood pressure, like every 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes I think it was less, because I would just be laying there, and then it would just tighten up, and then it would stop. And then and my arm was sore by the time I had her, and they took that damn blood pressure cuff off. I was like, my arm hurts.
Yeah.
And then I was in pain, and that's another reason we couldn't go to sleep. Well, I couldn't go to sleep because I was sitting there, and I was like, I'm going to try to hold out before they give me the epidural as long as I can. And what was it? I was laying in the bed. You have that video of me?
Yeah.
I was like, God, I would rather you just punch me in the face. Because it was so bad.
That's the video I have. But, watching the epidural go in, that's
I'm glad I can't see it.
you're like, ah, oh my God. Oh, all right. Okay. And then, then once you're preparing for the birth part, it's like, okay, cool. We're just going to get in this. It's no big deal. And then, she was ready to go. Like Ronan was like, I'm out this piece. All right. First of all,
honestly,
I'm not about to stand here any longer. Y'all want me out? I'm gonna get out. So she starts pushing, and then because it's like the nurses are in there, the doctor's like, lollygagging somewhere because
and the nurse was like, let's do some practice pushes, to get ready for you. Push when the doctor's here. So we do that, and was it during the practice pushes? Yeah. They were like, oh, go get
no, like literally, I was like, you got like 2 more pushes and she's gonna be out. And the nurse looked at me like I was dumb, and I was like, nah, dog. This kid's like ready to go. Like
her head was right there,
like, and I could see her head.
And the nurse looked at his head, and then she was like, "Don't push." I'm like, "I'm not pushing." I was literally just laying there. I was not pushing, but I think I had a contraction, and Ronan's head pops out. I didn't push her out. Like she was like right. I had pushed her down, and she was right there, and they were like, She was like, stop pushing. I'm like, I'm not pushing.
Kid's feisty, okay? She wanted out, but she got out.
And her head popped out, and they were like, get the doctor. And they were like, he was coming in there, and they were putting the thing on him so they could catch this child just jumping out of me. I was like, can you relax? Like, chill.
No, she was out there, bro. She was like, you were pushing. She was like, bro, stop pushing. I'll leave when I'm ready. I'm ready now. Just give me a second. And then they were like, oh, yeah, no, it's going to be a couple more. I was like, no, dude. And then they were like, get the doctor. I was like, I told you. I said it out loud.
I felt her head pop out. I was sitting there not pushing anymore, and I felt her head pop out. And I was like, did her head just come out?
Yeah. And so
it did.
We didn't sleep. So it was kind of like, this is when the traumatic parts come in. All right. I cut the umbilical cord. They put her on her, and then they put her on me. She's over here shaking like a chimney.
That's another thing that they don't tell you. That's another thing they don't tell you. So with Delilah, it was similar. The good thing is, I had horrible pregnancies and took a long time. But with both of them, they came out pretty easy. Delilah, I didn't even push that much, like less than 30 minutes, and she was like out. Like it was like not long. I did like a couple sets of 3 pushes, and she was out. So it wasn't a problem. And Ronan jumped out all by herself.
Right.
After I pushed like twice.
So...
And
we're sleep deprived, and we're like falling asleep back and forth, both of us. Like, she's on me, I don't know where they're at. She's on her, then she's on me. But then they're like, okay, we're gonna check her heart. And this is when we find out this child...
You're getting ahead of the story. I didn't talk about my shaking. That's another thing they don't tell you. Nobody told me this. Nobody told me you could do this. Like, after I had Delilah, I'm like holding her, and I'm shaking, like uncontrollably shaking. And I'm like, I'm cold. And they're like, are you cold? And I'm like, yeah, I'm cold. Because I didn't know why I was shaking like that. And they handed me, and then they took Delilah. Because I was like shaking. And they give me this little cup of juice and crackers. And my hand's like this. And I'm like, I can't sit it down. I was like, I'm going to spill this juice. Somebody get it. And somebody got it out of my hand. And they were putting like warm blankets on me. But I was still shaking. And then it did the same thing after I had Rona. I'm like holding her. And I'm like shaking. I'm like, please get her out of my arms. Because I'm shaking her. Like, I could not stop shaking. And then I started freaking out. What is that? Nobody still has told me what that is. I'm just like, is this normal? What is happening? But like, it's so scary because I'm like, what is going on with my body? But yeah, they go ahead. They check Ronan's heart. They like do their little like newborn checkup thing.
Yeah.
Like Delilah's was all good. They just like weighed her, did whatever, wiped her off, gave her to me, and we were good. But
this kid's 5 pounds, fighting everything. Everything, everyone, as soon as she's out of the womb. Like, she's trying to put the leads on her. She's over here going, I can't even get the leads on her. She's just ripping them off. Like, she's not having anything. They're trying to check her for something else. She's, like, fighting them. Like, I was like, y'all, she's tiny. Like, you can get it. And then, no, she's super strong. She's still, to this day, super strong for no reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, because they, like, listened to her heart and stuff, and they were like, something doesn't sound right. So they had to run an EKG on her. And they were like, she's ripping the leads off. I'm like, she's literally an hour old. You can't... overpower a 1 hour old newborn. But she was, like, ripping the leads off of herself and, like, moving. And they were like, we can't get it. And I'm like, well, I am numb. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, what are we going to do? Check my child. Make sure she's okay.
All right, you ready?
What?
You ready?
Ready for what?
You ready to start?
The adult part. I meant the older child part?
The hospital part.
Oh.
What was the part? What's the part I'm talking about?
Wait, I'm not telling that.
Oh, no, we have to.
No.
Because it feels like it's important.
No,
I feel like it's important. Actually, I feel like it's one of the most important parts of the story to make you really go, oh, that could be me. I don't want to do that.
No, it's so nasty.
I feel like it's important.
No.
Because it was at the same time as they're putting the leads on her. You know, they're trying to put the leads on her, and you're just like, oh no.
Okay, so before they induced me, they gave me an enema because they're like, the doctor likes to do that. If they're inducing you, blah, blah, blah. They want your stuff cleaned out. Cool. I had her. I didn't use the bathroom on the table. Thank goodness.
Didn't have time.
I didn't have time. She jumped out. But Okay, so I'm laying there after I had her, after my shaking's done and stuff, and I'm like, oh no, my tummy hurts.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, I called the nurse, and because they said they don't want me to get up without them helping me. Obviously, my legs are like still partially numb, and also like I'm attached to shit. So I was like, I called the nurse, and I was like, I've got to go to the bathroom. Like, take me to the bathroom. They were like, okay, we'll be in there in a minute. And then I was like, sitting there. I hate this. I'm sitting there, and I am in pain. I am in pain. And mind you, the majority of my lower half is still pretty numb-ish, right? I don't have a lot of control. And I'm like, please, God. And then I call the nurse's station again. I'm like, I have got to go. You have got to take... I mean,
a little bit, but you're good.
I'm like, I have got to go to the bathroom right now. They were like, okay, we'll be in there. I'm like, no, like, I've already called once. I need you to take me to the bathroom. Because they didn't want, like, Sid just to help me up or whatever. And I was like, I've got to go. And they're like, okay, we'll be in there in a minute. And I was like, okay. And I'm laying there. And I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Time was up. And she looks at me and she goes, I'm pooping.
I'm like...
She turns to me and goes, I'm pooping.
I was so upset because I'm like, I can't stop it. Like, I'm numb. Like,
man.
I just pushed a human out and my body's weird and it's still partially numb. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't do anything. And then the nurse gets in there and I'm like, listen, man. And I told her, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. We took a little bit. I'm like, well, I'm sorry for you because you have to help me. Like, we're all sorry here. I'm like, this is disgusting. And I'm so embarrassed. Funny. And that's the worst thing ever.
It's funny now.
It's funny now. But I had to go to the bathroom and get all cleaned up. But I was like, bro, I told you twice. Somebody, I don't care who comes to walk me to the bathroom. Just one of y'all come walk me to the bathroom. But yeah, that was something. That was really something.
Then, it starts getting weird. We go to the hospital. We're in the hospital already. So we go to the other room after she's already born.
Oh, like the recovery room.
And, that was kind of a blur for me because I've been up for a while, all right? She's been asleep a couple times.
Yeah, after I got the epidural, I was able to knock out a little bit.
So I, kind of crash. And I'm, up and down, all over the place. And then, this is when we were like, uh-oh. Because she has severe GERD. And then I'm holding her and I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on? I was like, call the nurse. Call the nurse. Call the nurse.
She was not breathing.
At all.
At all. Like, Ronan, they said because she came out so fast, that something about her coming out so fast, she didn't get to push, all the fluid up out of her lungs properly. So she would do this thing where it would come up and she would start choking and she would not be breathing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? She's not breathing. And we called the nurse and I told them, and they came in there and they grab her and they beat her on her back some, and they're sucking her mouth out with the thing. And I'm panicking. Yeah. Sid's panicking. I'm like, so, and they're like, yeah, this it might happen some. I'm like, some.
We gotta take this thing home now like this? We gotta take this thing home?
I'm sorry. What are you saying to me? And that happened more than once in the hospital.
Yeah.
God bless the nurses I had.
Yeah.
It's funny because a couple of the nurses I had were, one was a girl I went in high school, and one was another girl that I think I went to, knew her because of church or something when I was younger. But anyways, they were, super nice. All of the nurses were super nice that I had at this hospital. This was a completely different hospital experience than the military hospital when I had Delilah. Yeah. Very pleasant. And bless them for cutting my pills up, because I had to take these giant potassium pills. All my vitamins were not good. And the doctor was having me take these potassium pills, and they were drawing my blood every 2 hours. We would be asleep in the room, and they would come in there and be like, I need to draw blood. And after a while, I'd just be like, still half asleep, like, just throw my arm out, and I'm like, just fucking draw it. Like, you draw on it every 2 hours. I've never been stuck with a needle so much in my damn life. And the nurses are so sweet. They would get the pill cutter, and they would cut my potassium pills up into, like, 6 pieces, because I can't swallow. I like, well, the pills are huge. I'm like, what? No.
Yeah,
but
choke it down, right?
But Ronan doing that was so scary.
Yeah.
Like, we were both, like, flipping out.
And they were like, all right, you guys are ready, free to go. And I was like, are
like,
you coming with us?
Like, can we take a nurse home with us or what?
We're just good now. So, okay, let's talk about this for a second. Why don't they have, like, home visits after you take the baby home? They want you to take the baby to the hospital, the doctor the next day?
Right. I feel like they used to do that.
Which makes more sense.
A long time ago. Yeah, they want you have to take the baby to the doctor for its 1-day-old appointment. So as soon as technically like 2 days by the time you get out of the hospital. But you come home from the hospital and you have to go to the doctor the very next day. I have stitches in very unpleasant places, and they expect us to walk into these into the doctor's office and stuff. Because, like, obviously I'm going to go. But that's very hard. Like, I wish the doctor could come to the house the first day. That would be fantastic. But
it really would be.
It's tough. And then Sid was so we were so sleep deprived. We went to the doctor.
Loony.
Was that her week appointment or her 1 week appointment? I think he went into the grocery store.
That was the one day. That was the one day.
That was the one day.
That was the one we went to the other doctor's office that we never went back to.
Yeah, because we went to this other doctor's office instead of the pediatrician that she goes to, because it was a Saturday, wasn't it? Yeah. I went, and no doctor's office is open on a Saturday. They're like, well, this one's open, so we could do her 1-day appointment there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So it was that one. So I went in the store because we needed something, and I don't know, we were so sleep deprived, and we're just like up and down with her all night, because not only is she like sleeping every 2 hours, but also
doing the not breathing thing. We're like scared to go to sleep.
Yeah. So I get to the store, and I'm like trying to go get the stuff, and I'm like, oh no, I don't have my wallet. I don't have anything. Oh my God, I don't have any. I lost the money I had in here, and I'm almost starting to cry in the store. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't have any money, so we can't buy the stuff. And I keep looking in my pocket. I'm like, oh, there it is. Okay, never mind. Oh, it's fine. Okay, so I get the stuff when we leave. Like, I don't know what's going on in the brains, but it's really messing everything up.
And then we're like hysterically laughing on the way home. It's so hard to remember any of that. Like, you remember it, but it's like it almost doesn't seem real because you're so tired. It's like it's a dream.
Yeah.
Oh, and then remember, so Ronan pulls Exorcist when she would vomit.
Yeah.
As a kid, like as a tiny baby, so I was pumping because she wouldn't latch. I tried it with Delilah. I had to pump with her too. Like, breastfeeding's not for me. I had help from the doctors, and like it's just not a thing I could do. So I would pump and put it in the bottle, and then even if I would pump, it wouldn't produce enough. But every time we would give Ronan my breast milk, she would projectile vomit. Mm-hmm. And, like, when I say projectile, like, it was freaking nuts. Like, it would shoot out of her mouth. Like, she threw up so much. And then the first formula we gave her, she would throw up, too. Because with both of them, I had to supplement with formula, even when I was giving them breast milk, because I didn't make enough. But it was crazy. And then we finally switched formulas, and she ate one time. And she kept it down, and she didn't projectile vomit after it.
It was an emotional time. It was an emotional time.
Sid, it was the cutest. I was like, she ate and she didn't throw up. And Sid started crying. He's like, she's eating and not throwing up.
She's eating and not throwing up.
He cried. And I was like, honestly,
it was rough.
It was crazy.
Like, honestly, after about 2 months, you're in the clear, right? Until...
kind of.
Toddler age.
Well,
not
and then
even.
Ronan with her intense, what is that stuff called? Acid reflux. Jesus Christ. She had to take Zantac. No, it wasn't Zantac because they don't give people Zantac. It was, I don't know. Anyways, it was a liquid medicine for that. One of them. I don't know. Delilah took that too. I think I just produced, like, I have bad genes. Like, my kids have stomach problems. But
holes in them.
But we couldn't let her lay flat
No.
because she'd lay flat, and then at first it was the fluid that would come up and stuff, and then and then it was just the acid reflux was so bad, and she would like throw up in her sleep, and we'd wake up hearing her like choking on it, like pick her up.
Yeah.
So we couldn't let her sleep laying flat. We sat up and held her the whole time. Like, I know people are like, you're not supposed to go to sleep. She would choke on her vomit.
Literally the only way. She would sleep in this, and then I would be on the air mattress, and then in the middle of the night, if she wakes up, I'd get her, I sit in the rocking chair, and then we'd sit in the rocking chair
And sleep.
Yeah,
I would sit on this chase lounge, and I would be propped up, and I would have her sitting up in my arms with, like, the boppy pillow under me. So she's sitting up, and I hold her, and I would sleep sitting up. And then Sid would switch out and be sleeping sitting straight up in the rocking chair. Like, it was an insane time. Like, it was a while before we could lay her down flat in her own thing because she wanted to choke on her vomit, and it was...
Yeah. So then we're going to fast forward a little bit. The vomiting didn't stop. Okay. She is a violent vomiter. She was a violent vomiter, and sometimes she still tries to act like she's going to do it.
Yeah.
She's done a tiny bit in the past couple of months, but not as bad as she used to. We couldn't go anywhere because she would get mad and just cry until she threw up, and then she would choke on it and then throw up.
Anytime we were in the car, she was like that. So, like, even just going to her own doctor's appointments, like, we didn't even do unnecessary stuff. We were doing normal things, like getting groceries, there was no unnecessary car trips, really, because we just stayed here. Anybody that seen her came here, but
it was, like, not
she
worth
would
it.
scream and cry until she threw up, and then... when she got a little bigger and knew how to do it, she would start shoving her hands in her mouth until she made herself throw up because she was mad. She would, like, get mad, and then she's like, bleh, bleh. And I was like, stop that.
It was, like, honestly, bro, so exhausting. Like...
And then she'd always need, like, extra clothes, and then her car seat was disgusting and would have to be cleaned so much. It was, like... Honestly, it's insane. Like,
it really is.
With Delilah, she didn't do any of that as a baby. She had acid reflux, and that was rough, but it was nothing like the way Ronan's was.
This kid was voluntarily doing this, bro. She was like...
That part, the voluntary part,
I'm not happy, and I'll show you how. I'm going to cry, and guess what else I'm going to do? I'm going to vomit. It's like, no, don't do that.
Right.
She's like, no, you need this.
It was harder for her to sleep, too. She always had to be particularly put to sleep. But I think it had to do with she was used to us holding her so much because she threw up. Like, remember sometimes she'd just cry and you would just do the swingy and the bouncy thing and you'd have to stand up and do that and she'd just be crying.
Yeah, sometimes. But, like, after a while, you got to the point where you could just put her down and just rock her in her thing and she'll just...
Yeah, in her little bassinet, she would be good.
You have to rock her so violently, though. She did not like to be rocked slowly.
Like, if you rocked it gentle, but you had to, like, rock it.
She wants to, like, move side to side, like... Tokyo drifting, and I'm like, bro, shaking baby, dude, let's not do this. She's like, no, I like this. Cool. I sleep like this.
She wouldn't go to sleep, and then sometimes when you stop rocking it, she'd wake up, and I'm like, I can't do this all night. I gotta go to sleep.
I can't shake you all night. I can't do that.
And then she had to have her little bird sounds too. When she was really little, her bassinet had one of the little noise things, and it would have to be like nature sounds.
Yeah, it was wild. It was. You know what? Recounting it? No, I'm right. Never doing it again.
See, I was unprepared, honestly, because Delilah, other than the pregnancy and stuff being bad and her little bit of acid reflux, she was so chill. I put her in her bassinet. She went to sleep. All good. We wake up, we eat, we play. She goes back to sleep. I sleep when she sleeps because I obviously wasn't working then either. Because I had to take care of her. I don't like the idea of daycares. Like, it just makes me really nervous. I'd rather have them myself.
That makes sense.
But... yeah, Delilah was, like, the chillest baby. And then in cars, she was pretty chill for the most part. And, like, I was like, cool, yeah, for sure. Like, I guess I could do that again because that was pretty chill. But I was entirely unprepared.
This kid's on 10 all the time. Even now. Currently, we're looking at the baby monitor, and she is on 12. She's standing up in the bed, bouncing up and down.
Yeah, she's supposed to be asleep. She's in her bed, and she's supposed to be sleeping, but instead she's bouncing, playing, doing the most.
Always.
Yeah, so that's really fun. And then the diaper issues.
The diaper issues. There's a lot of those. There's a lot of diaper issues.
Also my poor children, both of them, their stomachs are just like my stomach. Yeah. But no, so Ronan we have to dress her funny going to bed or taking a nap so she doesn't dig in her pants. We have to put her pants inside of her onesie. So what did Jasmine say? She looks like she's doing jazzercise or something, like in the 80s.
Jazzercise, yeah.
So we put her pants in her onesie because if we don't, she takes her pants off and then she digs in her diaper from the side of the onesie and...
She just goes to town. She's throwing poop, smearing poop.
Man. We got her up from her nap one time and there was just poop everywhere. On the carpet, on the bed,
on her,
all over her onesie, all over her hands. And she's talking about, like, pick me up. I'm like, pick you up?
Pick you up?
And she's like coming at me, coming at us with her hands. I'm like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. I'm like, don't touch me. Get away.
Poop in her hair. It's just...
No, yep, it was in her hair too.
Bad time, dude.
So Sid was like, baby or room? And I was like, baby, I'll take the baby. So I ran her a bath and had to carry her little poopy-handed self all the way to the bathroom and take her clothes off. And, like, I was spraying her off with the shower stuff before I put her in the bath because I didn't just want poop floating around in the water. So I was trying to get her as clean as possible before sitting her down in the water. It was just horrendous. And then she did it again.
She did it again.
Not long after that. Nope. And I was like, okay. See, well, we had been wearing her pants like that because she would take her diaper off.
Yeah.
And then we stopped. Yeah, and just pee everywhere. And then we stopped because we're like, okay, like, she's not getting naked all the time now. And then she started doing the poop. So I'm like, okay, back to the inside the onesie pants. Oh, because she would get naked. She has her onesies, and we would put it on, and she would pull it down over her shoulders and pull it off and pull her pants and her diaper off. And we'd look at the baby monitor and be like, she is butt naked. We have to go put clothes on her.
Yeah, it's one phase after another. It's nonstop.
Okay,
they learn something new and they're like, oh, this is fun. Let's do this a bunch.
And Delilah did do that too when she was younger. I don't know what my kids' fascination is with poop, but they have some sort of fascination. Delilah did that because she would like use the bathroom on herself and try to hide it because it was some of that was after she was potty trained. She did it before she was potty trained, but after, like, she'd have an accident and then try to hide it, and I would be like, why does it smell like poop in here? And I would look and there would be like poop smeared on like her dresser and then like on the edge of her bed. I'm like, Delilah, why is there poop here? And then I would see it on her carpet and she's like, I tried to wipe it off. And I'm like, where's the underwear? She would like shove them under her bed or something. And I'm like, there's not enough cleaning products in the world for this household.
Honestly, it's not.
I'm like, it's so exhausting. Like, it is wild.
I run in and I'm like, I'm going outside. I'm throwing everything outside. I'm hosing everything down. Throwing everything in the wash machine. She has squishmallows in the bed that she uses as pillows.
Oh, they had poop all over them.
I have to rinse those off outside with the hose. And then I have to put them inside of a fitted sheet so I can put them in the wash machine. It's so much. The toys, I have to wipe down all the toys because she somehow got all her toys. This is the only time she's done it, is to get all her toys and put them in the bed with her. And then she's like smearing everything all over the toys. So I had to go through with wipes and spray and just clean everything out. I'm like, bro, this is too much. This is too much.
No, it's like a really wild thing. Really wild thing. And then Delilah is pretty chill now. She's 10, so she knows not to play with poop, obviously, and stuff, but she just kind of chills. But that toddler stage is rough.
It's not for the weak.
It is not for the weak.
It's not for the strong either. I would almost say it's not for anyone because I feel like the worst type of people, again, are toddlers. Honestly, 100%. I know people be like teenagers. I know, but it's just a lot of talking back and disrespect. You have the threat of danger because they want to do crazy stuff, but I feel like a toddler is like gonna get in danger on accident.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the hard part because you have to watch them. You can't talk to the toddler and be like, hey, don't do that.
Oh, and then just the the baby after they're crawling and toddler part of being like, cool, what is this? Let me taste it. Why are you putting everything in your mouth? Like, you have to be so careful. Like, one little piece of trash on the floor that you tracked in with your foot, they ate it.
Oh.
Like, it's so
wild.
crazy.
It's wild because, I want to try this piece of dirt, but I won't eat applesauce.
Oh my God.
What are you talking about?
Ronan hated apple baby food.
What are you saying right now?
But she would eat anything she found on the floor that was not food. I'm just like, oh my God.
What are you talking about? I don't like applesauce, but I do like this dirt.
No, it's honestly insane.
She got that from her mother because she likes to eat dirt.
I don't like to eat dirt. When I was a kid, I did eat dirt.
Did you like it?
I liked how it crunched in my teeth.
All right, so you like to eat dirt. See, point proven.
But, yeah. Like, I feel like people lie
all the time
about how it is to have children. And while they are the cutest, sweetest, most adorable things sometimes, there's a lot of craziness that goes on as well that you need to know. This is what you're getting into. And a lot of screaming for no reason. We're all crying for no reason, but a lot of screaming for no reason. It's a lot of, ah, and I'm like, what do you need? And she's like, ah, and I'm like, that's not a word.
It's that tolerance. She's just on it. Like,
yeah. Oh, and she throws food everywhere.
God, throws everything. Honestly, she's like, oh, I'm done with this. Throws it. Oh, yeah, I don't want this. Throws it. Oh, hey, can I have that? Can I have that? Throw it. What,
like
why?
a full bowl of oatmeal. She's in her high chair and she's like, yep, actually I'm done with this. And I'm like, cool, there's oatmeal everywhere. That's sick. I love that. Or anything. And then sometimes you give her stuff and she'll just like a food, she'll crumble it up and just do this. And then she used to take her snacks and she'd go, yeah, and like sling it out of her bowl. And I'm just like, why is it raining puffs? Yeah, she does.
She crumbs it up and goes, yeah. And I'm like, who's telling you to do this?
I know. And just like the throwing the food is just something. She loves to just dump it out. Oh, and then she had a little bottle of Gatorade.
Oh my God.
We were letting her taste it and she was holding it. And then I come in the room and she looks straight at me and she just turns it over and pours the whole thing on the carpet in the floor.
Honestly.
Don't have carpet.
No.
If you're going to have kids, carpet, no.
Because then it's more funny to laugh at them when they slip on it when they're wearing socks. But if you get them grippy socks, they won't slip.
Yeah. Delilah and Ronan both have grippy
it's
socks.
the weirdest thing because we'll be sitting in the room chilling, just me and her chilling, right? She's eating. Mm-hmm. You'll walk in. Oh, yeah, I got to throw my food now.
Yeah.
It's like, why? We were just having a good time. You were eating. We were having a good time. And then she walks in the room and then you just got to throw something because, oh, mom's here now. Great.
Yesterday, she had macaroni in the bowl and she threw it all on the floor. And then, like, she was kind of mad because I took it away. And I'm like, well, it has hair stuck to it. There was cheese on it. Like, it's gross. Like,
but I think eventually she's going to get out of that because today, what was it? What are we eating? Hamburger Helper. She had a piece of the meat in her mouth and she walks over to me and she grabs my hand, flips it over so she can put her hand to her mouth, get the meat out of her mouth and put it in my hand. And then she walks away.
Here you go.
She's like, I didn't throw it. So you proud yet? You proud? I didn't throw it. I gave it to you because I didn't want it.
She's so funny. A lot of times you try to get her to eat her food and she's like, nah, actually, I'm good. I eat. Who needs to eat? Not me. But if I have food, she's like,
oh.
What is that? Let me have some of that, please. Like, she'll eat it out of my plate, but not out of her own plate. And I'm like, it's the exact same thing. She's like, yeah, well, it tastes different off your plate.
The video with the dog. It's the same thing. That's what it's like, bro. Every time. Like, you'll be sitting there, you'll be like, oh, I got a waffle. She's like, I'll give you a waffle. She likes to eat them frozen for some reason. She's weird. And then I'll get my waffle. She's like, waffle. A waffle. And I'm like, dude, you have a waffle. She's like, no.
But I want your waffle.
That one.
No, yeah, and the frozen waffle thing. So we'd make her waffles and like cut it up, like toast it how you're supposed to.
Like a normal person.
But then one day she was like, waffle, and she's screaming for it. And I'm like, I've got to cook it. And she's like, ah. And I'm like, you want it cold? And she's like, yes. With her cute little, the way she says yes. I love it. Yes. It's the cutest thing ever. I love it so much. Yes. And I give her the waffle. And she just starts biting it and eating it while it's frozen. And I'm like, okay. Right, and then whatever. And then now a lot of times she'll be like, "Faffle, faffle," and I'm like, "Do you want it cooked or you want it cold?" She'll be like, "Cold," and I'm like, "Okay, I guess." But like sometimes she'll still eat it cooked, but most of the time she's like, "Cold." I'm just like,
She's currently not in the bed. I have no idea where she's at.
she's probably doing something she's not supposed to.
Of course she is. You can't take your eyes off her for a second.
Oh, and the other, we had a second baby monitor. We have one that points directly into her crib, but now that it's turned into a toddler bed,
There she
she's
goes.
back. Jumping. Now that's turned into a toddler bed, we bought a second baby monitor and put it up so we could see the whole room. So we're looking straight at her bed with one baby monitor, and the other one we could see if she gets out of the bed. She doesn't like it. It's freaked her out because it has like the night vision where it lights up red, and it's like a red ring up in her room. So she would like scream and like be so freaked. Yeah, no. So we had to take that one out so we can only look at her in the bed now because that one's been there forever, so she's used to that one. But the other one, she was not having it. To be fair, it's kind of scary, you know, a red ring up in the.
Speaking of that, we skipped one thing that Delilah did do. The night terror stage.
Oh my gosh, night terrors. So Delilah had night terrors twice, and I was traumatized.
I was like, bro, you can't be traumatized. Well, I guess because you never seen somebody have night terrors.
I've never seen somebody have night terrors, so it scared the life out of me because she's out of her bed and she's screaming uncontrollably and she's running from me, and I'm like, "Come here," and she's like, "I want my mommy," and she's like backed into a corner and her eyes are like wide and she looks wild and she's like, feral. "I want my mommy, and I'm like, "I am mommy, come here." She's just screaming and crying and screaming, and she won't let me get near her because it's like she's still asleep. She doesn't understand that it's me.
Has rabies.
It was like the scariest thing.
Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah. Look, this is what you gotta do. I was like, hey, you're good. And I touched her. I was like, okay, rubbing her arms. I'm like, you're good. And then I picked her up and I was like, okay, all right, relax. And she calmed down. And I was like, all right, cool. And then that was the second time she did it. So
yeah, that was
she
the
stopped
second
after
time.
that.
And, but just her being a terror at nighttime.
Yeah.
So Delilah went through this phase. Why is she in there?
She's in there dancing. She's swinging around and clapping. I don't know what she's doing.
But Delilah went through this phase where going to bed was not it for her. She was like 4, and it was the worst bedtime experience of my life. So she would not want to go to bed. We'd go take her to her room, and then she would open the door and run out of her room and just scream and scream and scream. And it was like, it took like an hour every night to get her to stay in her room. Like she had to scream pretty much until she tired herself out. It was really tough. It was tough.
Yeah. No, and that's when I came in.
Yeah.
You know, I had to deal with all that.
He picked a really good time to move in with me. Yeah, it was a super good time.
Right when she was becoming a crazy person.
Yeah. Oh, and I didn't even talk about when this wasn't, I mean, it's a child thing and it was scary. Delilah, when she got that fever when she was 2. So Delilah was 2 and she had a fever, and I think I took her to the doctor and they're like, "Oh, it's something viral." And like, okay, I get it, but like that's all they ever would say. And they're like, "Give her Tylenol and Motrin." I'm like, okie dokie. And I had just given her Tylenol because her fever was up, and she was sitting in the chair beside me. And then like all of a sudden I looked over at her and her head's like limp. And I'm like, "Delilah." And she's not responding, and her whole body's like limp, and she's just leaning over on me. I pick her up and I'm like, Delilah. She was like 2. And I was like, she's not responding. And I was like, what in the heck is going on? I like ran out of the house. I took my grandma's shoes. They both went with me to the hospital. Thankfully, the hospital is like 4 minutes away from my house. So to call an ambulance, it would have took longer than me just driving there.
Yeah. So
we jumped in the car and went straight to the hospital. And I'm like, they're holding her because listen, I know that's dangerous, but I was like in panic mode and I didn't know what was going on. I was so scared. And then like all of a sudden after the limpness went away, then she was like tense, and she was like, her arms were locked and her jaw was locked, and she was just staring, and she was still not responding. But then at like right when we were getting to the hospital, she started blinking and like responding a little bit. And we took her in there, and it was the craziest thing. They checked her temperature, and it was like 104 or 105. And it was a seizure because they said her temperature had shot up out of nowhere because I had just given her medicine because I checked her fever, and it was like, I don't know, like 100, 101. I was like, okay. So, and I had just given her medicine, but then they said and when we got to the hospital not that long later, it was like 104, 105. And she had a seizure from it shooting up. Like, that was so scary. Because she was just laying there limp and not responding. Like, that was the most terrifying experience. Like, our experiences sound horrible. Like, we're really talking people out of wanting to have children. Also, with the birth, stitches in super fun places for stitches to be, that is not pleasant, and you can barely walk, barely sit down. It's horrendous. I forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, no. You touched on it. You said you had stitches in uncomfortable places because we were talking about the go to the
I didn't say
the doctor's office the next day.
How absolutely awful it was.
I mean, you can only imagine. Like, if you think about stitches, and then you go stitches down below.
Like a lot of stitches. With Delilah, I had more stitches than with Ronan, and with Delilah, I was way more sore because she was a bigger baby when she was born, and I could not walk. Like, it literally took me 30 minutes to get out of the bed after the numbness wore off in the hospital to go pee. Like, I was so scared. And then when Delilah was a baby and we lived in Hawaii, our house had stairs. I slept on the couch the first couple of days home from the hospital because I'm like, I can't make it up to my bedroom. How the heck am I going to get up there?
Not a chance.
Like, man. So, leave us a comment. Let us know if this was birth control for you because it's wild. Any more stories you could think of? I know there's like a million more.
A bunch, and I just can't think of any.
I can't either. We might have a birth control part 2 if we have more.
Yeah, there definitely is going to be a part 2 because honestly, these kids are crazy and nonstop. I mean, she has my energy. So she's like going all the time. Like right now, she's supposed to be asleep and she's still on the move. She does not stop going until she's asleep. Yeah. But
to end it to say, like, it's funny because toddlers especially can act like tiny monsters all day long. Because Delilah definitely did. She still screamed and everything like that. It's just the most fresh on my mind is Ronan because we're currently going through it. And Delilah's was like 8 years ago. But then they have the sweetest little moments. Ronan will be so cute and sweet sometimes and just like be like a kiss when she's going to bed. When she wants a kiss, she's like a kiss. And I'm like, oh my God, shut up. You're so cute. And then she's like, goes and like lays her head on you to give you love, and I'm just like, God, she's so cute. And the way she talks, like, toddlers are the tiniest little monsters, and then they're the cutest little things at the same time. The way they say words and stuff. And Ronan calls birthday cake Happy, and then today she started saying happy cake. And I'm like, I get, happy cake is happy cake.
Happy cake, yum 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 yum.
She's so cute. And then she'll eat it. And she used to always go bite when she was a baby, when she wanted something of yours. And now she go, drink it.
Try it,
yeah, when she wants something of yours. Oh, she's so cute.
Now she's gotten to the point where she likes to yell for people.
Yeah.
Because I went to the bathroom and she was in the, Dada! Dada! Dada!
And then she'll come to the bathroom door when you're there. She'll knock on it and be like, Dada.
I'm like, what, Ronan? She's like, Dada. I'm like, what, Ronan? Dada.
And then she does that when I'm in the bedroom and she's out of the bedroom and she walks out and be like, Mama. Oh, and then she wants to tickle. Yesterday we were in her room.
I hate being tickled, by the way.
Sid does hate being tickled. But Ronan took my hand and led me out of her room to our bedroom and then was like, bed. And I was like, okay. So I sat her on our bed. She was like, and laid down and she was like, tickle. And I was like, you want tickles? Because I always tickle her and play with her. So I tickled her, and then she was like, Dada tickle. She wants to tickle Dada because I got her started doing that. I was like, let's tickle Dada. And then she'll go, tickle Dada. And then she started yelling for Sid and Delilah when we were in the room and I was tickling her. I was like, well, tell them to come here. She was like, she put her little hands up by her mouth and she said, Dada, Dada, Wawa, Wawa. It's
And we were in her room.
so
And we heard
cute.
her from across the house. Just
She's so
yelling.
loud. I love her so much. She's so cute. And then Delilah's just such a good big sister to her. It's the sweetest thing. And she loves her sissy. Like, that was one of the first things she said was Lila. Ugh, it's so cute. Like, there moments like that, you almost forget that she smeared poop in her hair, you know.
It's hard to forget
earlier that day.
It's hard to forget that. I don't forget that. I know you may forget that easily, but I don't forget that easily.
You know, it's funny when people do that thing where they're like, oh, you'll forget about how bad birth was and be wanting another kid. Nah, I forget. Who forgot?
There was moments where we were like, well, she needs somebody close to her age because Delilah's so far ahead. And I was like, we were like going back and forth. We're like, yeah, we could do another
It was
one.
like right after we had Ronan, and she's just this tiny, cute little thing, and we were like, man, we should have another one of these. We didn't, obviously, because we were insane. We were like, yeah, we could do it right now, because then the baby will only be like a year younger than Ronan. And I was like, I'm like, holy cow, was I insane?
Having a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old.
I was having temporary insanity
I don't know
or
how
something.
you people do it. I have no idea how you people do it. You're just like, oh, I have a toddler. Let's have another baby. Yay.
Oh, and to let people know, generally right after you have a baby, you're insanely fertile. So be careful if you are doing things.
Or don't.
I mean, if you want another baby, then don't. But if you don't, like, you're really fertile after you have a baby. So, like, watch out for that.
Just saying, these are your options, honestly. Like, this is birth control if you want it to be. If it's like, oh my God, I would love to clean up poop off of a baby. Like, off of a toddler. I would love to have to put a toddler in the tub and have to wipe poop out of their hair. Oh my God, I would love that. That's my dream.
Right.
And go for it. Have fun, you know. But I can't do it again. I'm not going to do it again. Once she's 5 and she's slightly less poopy, great. When she's about 8 and she's less poopier.
See, I have moments every so often where I'm like, dang, I kind of want another baby.
That's wild.
Like, I have these crazy moments where I'm like, I kind of miss being pregnant, having a little baby in my tummy. But then I'm like, I come to my senses and I'm like, wait a minute. I was miserable the whole time. And I'm like, right. That's right. I was miserable.
Can't do it, man.
Like, it's a cool feeling, right? And it's like, oh my God, this baby's in here and I can feel it moving. Like, that's so neat. And it's like safe in my tummy. But like, yeah, and I'm not doing that again. 2 is good.
Yeah.
I feel like if I go for more than that, I'm just being greedy.
No, for sure.
I've got two healthy, great kids.
Insane children.
Great, and they're both very smart too.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm being greedy if I ask for more than that.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, we're good on that. We're not touching that. We're not dabbling back in that. We're just gonna lock it up. Lock up the shop.
If I wasn't terrified to be put to sleep, I'd get my tubes tied.
Oh, I'm getting a vasectomy as soon as I can afford it.
I may get my tubes tied. We'll see.
Hop in there, snip.
I'm scared.
Care if you snip and take them out. Okay, you can run me full of estrogen if you want to, but do not. You can take out the testicles. I don't care what you gotta do, but just do it and do it quick. Okay, you got 30 minutes. Do what you gotta. All right, that's how long it takes.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
That's pretty quick.
See, that's so much more simple because you don't even have to be put to sleep. I'm just like, it's scary getting my tubes tied because you want them to. Scary getting my tubes tied because like it's a incision and they have to go like inside like at my belly button and stuff. Like that's so scary and I have to be put to sleep for that. So like that's more invasive, huh?
All right, that whole boy's an option to put me to sleep. I'll take it. Just give me some of that laughing gas or something.
They would probably give you like a Valium or something like that to calm you down, and then they put that shot in there.
Yeah.
Well,
oh, I'm gonna give you something to calm your nerves, and then I'm gonna stab you with a needle, and then I'm gonna cut you open. It's like, can you stop? I don't know if you try to think this is seduction. It's not. All right. This is not what people want to hear. Okay. What I want to hear is I'm gonna put you to sleep. Okay. Chokehold. And then I'll do all this. Good, go ahead.
Choke you out.
Cut the circulation out. Give me the volume, and then choke me out. And then I'm like, okay, you can do whatever you want. It's your 30 minutes to spare.
Yeah, it's quite the experience raising children.
Absolutely, it's a circus.
This time around, the second time around, I had more help.
Help?
Sid was, you know, I mean, he did so much. Like, he let me sleep sometimes. Like, it was just like, he did the 50%, you know, that the father's supposed to do.
It's just too much.
So that really makes a difference. Not that it wasn't like that before. It's just, Delilah's dad worked a lot, and like the way he worked, he would have to work for like several days in a row away from the house, like sleep at work, and then sometimes have like things where he would have to be gone for a week or 2 weeks. So I was like alone. And then then I lived in South Carolina. I moved back when Delilah was like 10 months old. So it was like a lot of on my own stuff. But at least when I was back home in South Carolina, I had family around that could like help sometimes and stuff. But like it's rough even with help. With or without help, it's tough. And support your people that need help. And I mean mentally. Like, I think a lot of people don't ask about the moms as much. Like, pregnant people. What?
Support your people who need help.
Well, I was trying to think, like, support the pregnant people as well as the baby. Like, a lot of people are just like, oh my gosh, let me see the baby. How's the baby? How's the baby? It's like, I am over here. Yeah, like the baby's taken care of. I'm the one that hasn't showered and is bleeding and is stitched up and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, be like, how are you doing? And then mentally, that's like a huge toll on your mental health.
They're like, yeah, you just described that. Yeah, you're not as cute as the baby. That's why I don't
Right. It's like, oh my God, the baby, how's the baby doing? It's like, I am the one, the baby's doing great, thriving, honestly.
Yeah.
Me, not so much.
Yeah,
so check on the birthers of the babies as well.
It's like, yeah, I don't want to see all of that. You look raggedy. The baby's so cute.
Right.
The baby's wearing its baby makeup.
Right. Like
oh, it's crying. Here, go back to your mom.
Check on the pregnant people and the birth giving people, not just the baby, please.
Yeah, that's wild.
It is wild that people don't think about it. They're like, yeah, but what a cute baby. It's like, yeah, I'm just drowning over here, but it's cool.
Right.
The baby's cute, I know. So, I hope you learned something interesting today about something you did not know happen when you have kids.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go by her door and smell if she pooped, because that might be why she's still awake and jumping.
That's possible, because she did not poop earlier.
Yeah. That's the things you have to worry about, you know. Oh, did they poop today?
And
when did they poop?
You will never talk about poop as much in your life as you do once you have kids, because you're like, does this poop color look normal? This poop is a little hard. Do you think they're constipated? Should we give them juice? Actually, have they pooped? Did they poop earlier? Like, you talk about poop so much, it's insane.
How much did they poop? Is it enough poop to be considered a poop, or are they going to poop more later? It's like, bro.
I've never been so worried about other humans than myself's bodily functions as I have the past 10 years. Because even with Delilah, my older child, you're still like, hey, have you pooped? Because you're not changing their diaper, so you don't know. Because I'm like, are you constipated? Are you good? Is your stomach hurting? Like, you have to ask these questions. You have to pay attention to these things. It's important.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got some new things to consider when you decide if you want to have a kid or not. If you don't want to have a kid, hey, don't let people talk you into having kids.
Yeah,
because it's not something you just should take lightly, because it's a lot of work.
And having kids is not for everybody. And I don't think people should be shamed for not wanting children.
Absolutely not.
Like, there's nothing wrong with not wanting children. Like, that's okay. That's your choice. That's your preference. It's a ton of work, and people act like, oh, well, you should have a baby. It's not that big. No, it's a lot of work. If you don't want that much to do that much work, like,
it's all good.
Don't. If you're on the fence, I saw somebody say, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a hell no. Like, I don't feel like it's something you could be iffy about. If
you're on the fence, hop off the fence and decide to go do something else with your life, like vacation or something, or go to work, because that's what we're all doing, because that's all we can afford to do.
But yeah, so don't let people make you feel bad if you don't want children. It's a ton of work, and do what makes you happy.
Yeah. I've been wiping my nose this whole podcast and there was nothing in it. But now there is, so now I have to go.
My throat's very dry. I need to go
All right.
eat a cough drop.
See you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.